are these people?
Right.
yes. And
So,
stories like this get like swept under the rug, you know,
mhm,
and not covered. So,
right. So
but
yeah, so a little hopeful. Well, hopeful in a better way, I would argue. Um, so as I said earlier, those of you who are coming in, welcome. Since we're past the hour, now close to an hour and a half that we're going, um, please like, share, and subscribe this. Since we mentioned it,
yep.
please like, share,
Go
and
over there to the
sub.
Rumble. Make sure it's not fake views because it's still fake views. You
It's
know.
you gotta give some reference to that. Why you're
Oh
saying
no,
that?
well it's just the views on Rumble are fake. They're fake views. There's no
But
engagement.
why?
No one
But
engages
why
on
you?
Rumble.
Yeah, but why are you saying that though? You can't just be like they're fake
They're just
views.
fake
Like,
views. They're not real people. It tells me there's like 8 people watching. They aren't real people. They're not talking on Rumble. They're not leaving
apparently,
comments or likes on Rumble. This is what I'm saying. Prove
apparently,
me wrong. Prove me wrong. Do it.
Reef is like BTS. Reef is saying this because we get way more views apparently on our streams on Rumble than we do here on YouTube. So, like, a good stream for us, we would get like I would say about 100 views for us after all is said and done on the stream is good for us. Like,
Yeah.
and like on Rumble, it's like what?
Yeah, Indy,
How many?
I know you're on Rumble. Indy, I know. Yeah, of
Indy,
course.
check on Rumble now and see how we're doing.
It's him. It's him. He's the only real one there. I'm telling you. Like fake views. Um
You should
anyway,
clip that.
right? It
But
says
yes,
I'm the only one watching right now. Lies. Lies. Like after when this video's up on Rumble, you're watching it after you're one of the 800 that is what leave a comment. Let me know you're real. Prove to
right.
me that you're there. Anyway, so you brought this article from where's this from? What's this
Uh,
C?
Courthouse.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Courthouse. So actually, you gave me this story. Actually,
Okay.
I think maybe.
Yeah, Courthouse does pretty good
I think,
short. They don't put a lot of
yeah, it
extra
was.
on it.
Yeah. There was one on Common Dreams too, but I chose this one because I think it gives a little bit more information than the Common Dreams article did. So
Yeah, and
we're
less
gonna reference it.
opinion usually.
Yeah. I mean, we love our folks at Common Dreams, but sometimes. But so anyway, this article written by Hello Aaron, I guess Courthouse News. Thank you, Reef.
Yeah.
I think I said Reef.
Indie
Indie,
probably.
sorry. Yeah, it was Indie.
Who's switched accounts 4 times in this anyway. Um
Anyway, so Los Angeles braces for a 3-day public school shutdown. The district's two biggest unions, represented service workers and teachers, are set to begin a 3-day strike. So,
okay.
you know me, love strikes.
Especially teacher strikes.
Especially teacher strikes, trying to get them done in DC. But anyway, that's what was actually part of the reason why I was kind of mad today.
Oh.
Kind of over. I'll tell you after, but anyway, so Hello writes. Los Angeles Unified, the second largest school district in the nation, is bracing for a 3-day shutdown beginning yesterday, with its two biggest unions set to go on strike. District officials had hoped to avoid a walkout with last-minute negotiations, but LAUD's Superintendent Alberto Cajajo said at a press conference Monday afternoon that union leaders weren't willing to come to the table. I made myself available today, Cajajo said, hoping that in fact we would be able to have a conversation. For a whole host of reasons, some of which I don't even understand, we were never in the same room. We are never even in the same building.
Wow.
He added, tomorrow will be a difficult day. For whom, I wonder. SEIU Local 99 represents about 30,000 bus drivers, custodians, cafeteria workers, teaching assistants, security aides, and other service employees. The service workers are being joined by UTLA, which represents roughly 35,000 counselors, therapists, librarians, and nurses, as well as teachers, in a sympathy strike. What does that mean, you may ask? This strike is about respect for essential workers who have been treated as second-class workforce by LAUSD for far too long. SEIU Local 99 Executive Director Max Arias said in a statement last week. I'm actually going to get to that statement in a minute. But he continues, denying education staff livable wages and refusing to invest in our students has devastated our public schools and pushed inequality to perilous levels, said UTLA President Cecily Murat Cruz in a statement last week. Until Superintendent Cavallo and the district cut the charades, and come to the table with tangible proposals, we will continue our unified escalation. So basically, and this is what I was mentioning earlier, that this is slightly different. This is a solidarity protest strike. This is teachers mainly striking on behalf of service workers in the district who will work in connection with the district in terms of their service to children who get paid lower than livable wages in terms of doing their jobs. So
Gotcha.
So they're coming together, and plus teachers have some, tangibles that they want to. So they figured, you know what? Let's work in solidarity and have a bigger strike. So I will read you Max Arias' statement. And actually, if you can zoom in, please, so I can read that.
Yeah, I think we can just about.
Very good. That's fine. SEIU's Local 99 members are leading a 3-day strike from March 21st to 23rd to protest the Los Angeles Unified School District's unfair labor practices. LAUSD has been misleading the public on why employees are striking. This strike is about respect for essential workers who have been treated as second-class workforce by LAUSD for far too long. During a year of contract negotiations with LAUSD, and most recently as workers voted to authorize a strike, they have been subjected to threats, harassment, surveillance, and interrogation about their participation in union activities. Dozens of unfair labor practices have been filed with the California Public Employment Relations Board against LAUSD's unlawful activity, with more pending. Workers have been interrogated about what they discuss in union meetings, threatened with termination if they participate in the strike, and have been demoted and forced to take a pay cut for their union activity. A member of the SEIU Local 99 bargaining team was also given a poor performance review for attending too many union meetings. In some of the most egregious cases, food service workers were locked in a cafeteria to prevent them from voting on the strike, and a special education assistant, 6 months pregnant at the time, was threatened with arrest and had police called into the school, where she was providing updates on contract negotiations to her fellow union members. These incidences have been bolstered by LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Cajallo's February 10th tweet characterizing union activities as a circus. If LAUSD is truly serious about negotiating, they must begin by addressing and recognizing the blatant harassments of workers who are exercising their legal right to demand improvements to their wages and work hours and increasing staff for the student services they provide.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, of course. Like,
yeah.
To me, this is like basic. So they've been negotiating, they've gotten nothing. Like, now there's more consequences.
Well, it's now more consequences, but I think now service workers are beginning to, and I should have checked, but they may not be unionized, but they're now looking to unionize, or at least connecting with teachers who are unionized, and that's posing a problem.
Yeah.
LAUSD, because now it's like, oh shit, like we actually have a bigger contingency that we have to deal with. So it's the idea of like, and we've seen this story before, like the threats, like
Yeah.
demoting pay or probably firing,
Mm-hmm.
employees or even attempting to wanting to strike.
And
Again,
the
we've talked about
NLRB
this,
won't do
right?
shit.
Right. And we talked about this with Amazon. I know you've talked about this with Indie on how you missed that for other
Starbucks
organizations.
right now as
So,
well.
so
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
so this is like tale as old as time in
Mm-hmm.
regarding labor.
The
So,
tale
but
is old as time. You you gotta respect my girl like that. You know what I'm saying? Angela Lansbury be out here.
rest in peace.
Rip.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so those of you who watch our channel slash show are very familiar with this kind of bullshit. Um, so yeah, that's why they're striking. Again, it's solidarity. Teachers are showing solidarity to service workers, which I think is very cool, and needed, and a lesson to all of us of what we need to do in order to make, be in solidarity with different groups, especially in similar industries,
Yeah.
in order to come together to get something in terms of power, But anyway, schools in Los Angeles do far more than just teach. Many function as public aid centers, providing food and childcare to thousands of low-income families, community schools. And so the impending walkout has sent the city government, as well as nonprofits and community groups, scrambling to fill the gap. The city's Parks and Recreation Department is offering programs for first through fifth grade kids at 30 different locations, though capacity is somewhat limited. Some of the district schools will be open for supervision, but few expect any real academic learning to take place. There are those who say that kids won't necessarily be hurt by this strike, Carvalho said Monday. For me, one day out of school is one day too many. 2 days of school is 2 days too many. Can you scroll down, please?
Yes.
3 days is too much. Local 99 leaders have asked for the 30% raise for all of its members and additional increases for those with the lowest incomes. Carvalho said that the district's latest offer was a 23% raise with a 3% one-time bonus. That would take most employees to an hourly wage of more than $20, as well as above the minimum for the state and county. The district is also prepared to offer full-time health benefits to all SEIU members, even part-time employees, their
Okay.
families, a fairly generous perk.
I mean, Medicare for all would be nice. This is
Right.
something they give to like something that they can use occasionally to like bludgeon people with, But
Right. Carvalho has called that offer historic, and it suggested that it would be better than any school district in the country. I believe this strike could have been avoided, Carvalho said, but it could not be avoided without parties speaking to one another. The teachers union, meanwhile, is also seeking a raise. They're asking for 20% over the next 2 years. The district has offered a 5% raise per year, plus one-time bonuses of 4% and 5% for this year and next, respectively. Technically speaking, UTLA isn't actually going on the strike themselves, though most of its members will not be showing up to work in solidarity with the service employees. Unlike SEIU leaders, UTLA leaders are not at an impasse with LAUSD, and negotiations remain ongoing.
okay.
Both unions have accused the district of waiting until the last minute to seriously negotiate. They say the district is sitting on $4.9 billion in reserves and can afford to be a little generous with its employees. Carvalho called that claim categorically untrue and said it would inspire false hope among workers, explaining that most of that money was from the federal government and is already earmarked for various programs and services. Like what, I wonder? Though it currently boasts a budget surplus, LAUSD has stated that its long-term financial outlook is bad, thanks to a steadily declining enrollment, the product of a slowing. Oh,
I think one of us clicked.
you. Oh, the wait.
Went back, right?
Wait. You wait.
Go ahead. One more.
No.
There it is.
There we go. So zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Though it currently boasts a budget surplus, LAUSD has stated that its long-term financial outlook is bad, thanks to a steadily declining enrollment, the product of a slowing birth rate, and a city that's become unaffordable for many young families. More of a reason why to pay them.
Yeah.
UTLA has a long history of feuding with the superintendent. John Deasy's 3-year tenure from 2011 to 2014 was marked by bitter relations with the union, culminating in his early dismissal by the elected school board, the majority of which had been elected with union backing. Austin Beutner, I guess that's how you say his name, who served from 2018 to 2021, was given similar treatment. Carvalho hired away from Miami in 2022 and given a 4-year contract with a base salary of $440,000. Jesus Christ. Has been at pains to strike a conciliatory note with the teachers, but he's been criticized for seeking out the spotlight for his rather exuberant Twitter presence. One tweet in... Well,
yeah, that was me. No, that was you. Go ahead.
Yeah, there we go. One tweet in particular got him in trouble. In February, after SEIU Local 99 members voted to authorize the strike, Carvalho tweeted, 1, 2, 3, circus equals a predictable performance with a known outcome, desiring of nothing more than an applause, a coin, and a promise of a next show. Though he later deleted the tweet, the unions were quick to take barrage, telling their members that it was a blatant sign of disrespect.
Okay.
SEIU Local 99 used to be frequently at odds with UTLA. It was, for the most part, a supporter of DC and clashed with UTLA over programs like Breakfast in the Classroom, which employs cafeteria workers but which teachers say disrupted learning. But Tuesday's strike is a sign of how close the two unions have become over the last 8 years, united by their growing support of progressive causes. It's been a tumultuous 5 years for LA Unified. The 2018-19 school year was interrupted by a 9-day teacher strike. COVID hit in 2020, closing in-person instruction for nearly 2 years, with classes taking place remotely over Zoom. Schools reopened in the fall of 2021, but many students struggled to make up for lost time. This school year, LAUSD has been forced to deal a cybernetic attack, chronic absenteeism, and a series of teen opioid overdoses. Now they have to contend with a strike, barring a last-minute deal of intervention by the California Public Employment Relations Board. The district has asked the board for an induction to halt or delay the strike, but that question was denied. Thank you, district. LSUSD has also filed an unfair labor practice charge against SCIU Local 99 and has called the strike illegal, saying that the official jurisdiction of the strike doesn't match its leaders' true intentions.
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
So basically, those of you who are in LA, who are teachers, bring down a bit, solidarity to you. And look, whether or not you can argue 30% or 23% raise or whatever, my thing is, shit, especially if it's true that they have a surplus, like, why not go for it and see what you're able to get out of it? And, you know, but this is going to look bad on the superintendent given COVID, you know, like, you know, students with opioid issues. And then, and this, again, this is kind of, now I'm probably going to rage, but that's okay. But this is kind of exactly what I talked about, I think a couple of weeks ago, in terms of this is what teachers have to deal with in terms of a lot of districts right now are trying to go back to the normal in terms of pre-COVID, in terms of we're going to do shit as before without dealing with the psychological and permanent damage that a lot of our students have gone through in the last few years during COVID. And again, the fact that they have to deal with opioid cases, like, that, and I'm sure that was an issue prior to this.
Right.
But my guess is like the pandemic exacerbated a lot of that. And this is stuff that teachers have to deal with that they may not necessarily be prepared for, So the idea that you're trying to have teachers going back in with these students with a lot of these issues that have been unaddressed, getting paid, especially if they're service workers, getting paid next to nothing, and having to deal with all of that with lower than average wages, especially if you're a service worker, it's kind of like, yeah, strike and see what you're able to get out of it, even if you think that might be the best that you can do, which I think kind of counters, and I don't want to give them shade, but kind of like the railroad workers in a sense, like they were shooting for what, 20,
Yeah.
like 20 sick days a year,
Mm-hmm.
and now they kind of been kind of, I would say, wishy-washy, but they haven't stuck to that. Like now they're kind of gone down to like, oh, we'll take 4 to like, I guess now it's 7, given what Bernie is saying. Whereas these guys are like, no, we want the whole thing. Like 23% is not good enough. Do better. So I kind of admire that, like in terms of that chutzpah, like just to push for what the maximum of what you can get. And I feel like given that they're saying you have a surplus and according to this article, they've yet to say what they plan to do with it in the district. And the superintendent is making close to $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Why not give that surplus to teachers and service workers who are actually dealing with this? Or if you're not going to do that, mention what kind of programming that you're going to do to help deal with kids that are coming out of this pandemic, or give teachers like professional development to be able to deal with the issues that they're dealing with in the classroom. Like make that offer. And I'm sure like given me, like I wouldn't be unreasonable to that if it means I'm able to do my job well. But it doesn't seem like, and again, I don't live in LA, so if anyone in LA who's a teacher can speak to this, I'd love to hear from you. But it doesn't sound like that was on the table to me. It
No,
was
yeah,
just kind of like, oh,
you got some chump change. We'll bring you up to $20 an hour, which is nothing in LA.
right,
You
right. And
know,
they're talking, right,
but also insurance will give you that too, which you should get anyway.
right.
Yeah, terrible. Anyway,